Hello my dear jewelry lovers. Today I want to tell you a story about the stunning jewelry of the Windsors that everyone has forgotten about. The royal family has a huge amount of jewelry, but not all of it is often seen in the light. Contrary to popular belief, members of the royal family don't often attend events with a dress code that involves particularly luxurious jewelry. It is therefore not surprising that many pieces of jewelry from the Windsors collection remain rare guests at public events. However, it's a little sad to realize that the world's most exquisite jewels have been kept in closed vaults for a long time. Let's take a look at 6 pieces of jewelry that we hope Elizabeth, Duchess Kate or other members of the royal family will one day adorn. Princess Margaret's Persian turquoise parure. Princess Margaret's main treasure was given to her on her coming of age. Traditionally, girls from royal families are given tiaras on this day, and our heroine was no exception. Her mother, Elizabeth Beausoleil, presented her with a gorgeous Persian tiara decorated with turquoise. But that was all, because the princess became the owner of an impressive parure. Accompanying the tiara was a necklace, pendant earrings, a large brooch and some hair jewelry. By the way, the gift was expensive not only in terms of material value, but also emotional. The fact is that in the language of stones, turquoise means love, and Margaret received it in full. The Persian tiara was not created especially for the princess. It was made by Gerards in the early 20th century. It was first owned by Queen Mary, who gave it to her daughter-in-law Elizabeth Beausoleil, Princess Margaret's mother, in 1923 on her wedding day to the Duke of York. Later on, the younger sister of Elizabeth II greatly expanded her collection of turquoise jewelry. For example, it included a very beautiful diamond bow brooch, which the Queen herself would have loved to wear. It is not known where the tiara, necklace and brooch from the original parure are now. Strathmore Rose's tiara. This piece of jewelry was a wedding gift from her father to his daughter, the Countess of Strathmore and Kinghorn, in honor of her marriage to Prince Albert, the future King George VI. The elegant wreath of diamond wild roses perfectly emphasized the bride's youthfulness. The Strathmore Rose's tiara by Catchpole and Williams, studded with 30 to 50 carats of antique cut diamonds, lay 97 years in the past, left aside after the Queen decided it no longer suited her style. Recently, however, we saw this tiara on Duchess Kate Middleton, who previously wore Princess Diana's tiara, known as the Knot of Love, as well as a second piece of jewelry called the Lotus Flower. And now, in addition to the Strathmore Roses, she was wearing sparkling diamond earrings. The outfit was completed with white theatre gloves and a silver clutch bag. A choker necklace with trophies of love. In recent decades, choker necklaces have fallen out of fashion among royalty, who prefer more diverse styles of jewelry. This is unfortunate, as the Love Trophies necklace, created by the jewelry house Gerard for Queen Mary in 1901, still impresses with its splendor. This impressive piece of jewelry includes diamonds that belong to Mary's grandmother, Princess Augusta of Hesse-Kassel, and her aunt, Princess Augusta of Cambridge, which have been beautifully set in gold. Tech Crescent tiara first entered the treasury of the British royal family in 1860, following the wedding ceremony of Princess Maria Adelaide and German Prince Franz von Teck. This delightful diamond jewel, consisting of 3 roses separated by 20 crescents, was assembled by Maria Adelaide from various jewels inherited from her aunt, the Duchess of Gloucester. Mary Adelaide, being a woman of exquisite form, preferred to wear the tiara over 2 rows of diamond slats to give it extra height. Upon the Duchess of Teck's death in 1897, the tiara passed to her eldest son, Prince Adolphus, 1st Marquess of Cambridge. Queen Consort Mary, a connoisseur of jewelry, bought the crescent of Teck from her brother and presented it to her sister-in-law, the future Queen Elizabeth. Despite the awkwardness of the frame, the Queen Mother wore the tiara several times, although she required a voluminous hairdo for a spectacular fit on her head. The Queen Mother handed the Teck Crescent diamond tiara to her youngest daughter, Princess Margaret, on her wedding day to British photographer Anthony Armstrong in 1960. Since Princess Margaret's death in 2002, there have been uncertainties about the owner of the Teck Crescent. Some claim that the necklace belongs to her son David Armstrong Jones, 2nd Earl of Snowdon, while other sources claim that Queen Elizabeth II gave the tiara to Camilla, following her marriage to Prince Charles. However, so far Camilla has never appeared in public wearing this piece of jewelry. Dagmar's necklace. Queen Alexandra's necklace undoubtedly holds a place of honor among the notable pieces in Queen Elizabeth's collection. This unique piece of jewelry was given to Princess Alexandra to celebrate her wedding to the future King Edward VII, and is a true splendor. The necklace includes an impressive 2,000 diamonds and 118 pearls, complemented by a gold setting. However, its real uniqueness comes in the replica of the famous Dagmar cross, masterfully crafted on enamel, which adds to this piece of jewelry's special character and style. Queen Mary's sapphire bandeau tiara. The appearance of the jewelry in the English treasury is somewhat obscure. The first royal to introduce a sapphire crown to the public was Queen Mary of Teck. Elizabeth II's grandmother used the tiara frequently during the final years of her husband George V's reign. The Sunbeam's bandeau tiara is a flexible diamond bandeau with a sunburst design. The centerpiece of the jewelry is a removable sapphire brooch. The wreath has the shape of a small Russian kokoshnik. And according to the only reliable source, the tiara is indeed of Russian origin. The jewel was acquired by Mary of Teck from the Dowager Empress Maria Feodorovna along with several other pieces of jewelry. Queen Mary bequeathed the bandeau tiara to her daughter-in-law Elizabeth Beausoleil. The design of the jewelry was not suitable for the Queen Mother's images, so she never wore it in public. The sapphire crown was honored to adorn Princess Margaret's high hairstyle. Indeed, the youngest daughter of the royal couple often used the bandeau tiara both before and after her marriage in 1960. The princess's most spectacular appearance in that sun jewelry took place in the spring of 1958, during her tour of the West Indies. In April, she arrived in Trinidad to act as the Queen's special representative at the inauguration of Lord Hales, Governor-General of the Federation of the West Indies. Following the official events, Princess Margaret attended a gala dinner at the Lord's residence. The Sunbeam's tiara bandeau also accompanied Margaret on a state visit by German President Heuss in 1958, and 3 years later at the wedding of Princess Astrid of Norway. Margaret also used the centerpiece of the tiara, a sapphire brooch, for both daytime and evening events. At a performance by the British instrumental rock band The Shadows in London in March 1962, the bodice of the princess's dress is adorned with this particular brooch. The current whereabouts of the unique piece of jewelry are unknown. Perhaps the sapphire tiara bandeau was dismantled by royal jewelers to create more modern jewelry. There is also a version of its sale at auction, along with some of Princess Margaret's jewelry. Let's hope that the jewelry will still show itself to the public.
Queen Mary of Teck introduced an abundance of jewels into the Windsors treasure trove, which the royal family still actively uses today. However, there were also jewels that were sold, dismantled, or vanished for other reasons. Let's begin with the magnificent Surrey fringe tiara of Queen Mary. When Princess May of Teck married the Duke of York, the future King George V, in 1893, she received an impressive array of jewelry from various parts of the United Kingdom and the British Empire, among which was this striking fringe tiara with a diamond border, a gift from the county of Surrey. It was nearly identical to a diamond fringe necklace given to her as a wedding gift by Queen Victoria. Describing the Duke of York's and Princess May of Teck's wedding in 1893, Queen Victoria wrote that the bride wore her gift during the ceremony. In photographs taken after the ceremony, the princess can be seen wearing the diamond border as a tiara, but it is unclear whether Queen Victoria confused these two pieces. In 1901, the then Duchess of Cornwall and York wore the Surrey diamond fringe tiara and her 11-row pearl necklace at an official reception in Ottawa during a tour of Canada, where a series of official portraits were taken. The then Princess of Wales wore the Surrey fringe as a necklace with her Boucheron loop tiara, which I will discuss later, and the Love Trophy collar for a series of official portraits in 1905. And this was the last time this piece of jewelry was publicly photographed. A few years after the accession of King George V and Queen Mary in 1910, the Surrey fringe tiara was dismantled, and some of its diamonds were used to create the Gloucester honeysuckle tiara, while others were used to top the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara instead of pearls. Another example is the Collingwood tiara. Mary received many tiaras in her extensive collection of wedding gifts. but the one she chose to wear for her wedding demonstrated a deep understanding of the royal world. Among the flowers in her hair was hidden the Collingwood fringe tiara, a transformable necklace/tiara given to her as a wedding gift by her new husband's grandmother, Queen Victoria. Although she undoubtedly pleased her new mother-in-law by wearing the tiara on her wedding day, it did not seem to be one of her favorites. She was photographed in the necklace version of the tiara, pairing it with items from the Teck turquoise parure, but there are no major portraits of Mary wearing this piece in tiara form. And in 1919, she decided to completely sacrifice the Collingwood fringe, gathering the diamonds for reuse in her new modern fringe tiara. Moving on to the tiara I mentioned earlier, namely Queen Mary's Boucheron loop tiara. This tiara was commissioned by Mary from Boucheron in 1902, using diamonds given to her by the De Beers Company the previous year. About 10 years later, she dismantled it and used the diamonds to make the Delhi Durbar tiara. Regarding the amethyst tiara, instead of commissioning this piece specifically, May bought these amethysts at a charity auction. She was photographed wearing the tiara at least twice before seemingly passing it on to her daughter-in-law, Queen Elizabeth. Unlike her mother-in-law, the Queen Mother was never photographed wearing the tiara. It is presumed that when she offered to include it in the royal collection for her own daughter Elizabeth II, the Queen declined. Instead, the tiara was put up for auction, leaving the family in full possession of it. The matching pieces, including earrings and a brooch, were also sold. Later, the necklace was photographed on Vogue editor Anna Wintour at a gala at the Victoria and Albert Museum in London in 2007. But why they sold this tiara remains a mystery. Please share your thoughts in the comments and I will read them. But while you write, let me tell you about another stunning jewel with an interesting name, the Ladies of England tiara. This pearl and diamond tiara was created by Hunt and Roskell as a wedding gift from a committee of 650 ladies of England. The versatile piece could be worn not only as a tiara, but also as a necklace, a corsage ornament, with the central part worn as a brooch and the remaining parts used as sprays. The Duchess of York began wearing the Ladies of England tiara soon after her wedding, and at some point in the mid-1890s, she appeared in a series of portraits with her 11-row pearl necklace. Around the same time, Princess Mary wore the Ladies of England tiara as a necklace for a portrait with her Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara and the City of London collar, which bears the mark of 1896. The Duchess of York also wore this piece as a corsage and dressed as a court lady of Marguerite de Valois at the famous Devonshire House Ball, held during Queen Victoria's Jubilee celebrations in 1897. A few years later, the then Princess of Wales wore the Ladies of England tiara as a necklace at the coronation of her father-in-law, King Edward VII. Soon after the ascension of King George V and Queen Mary in 1910, the Ladies of England tiara was dismantled, and some of its diamonds were used to create other pieces of jewelry. Another interesting piece of jewelry was the Westminster bandeau tiara, with laurel leaves of Queen Mary. This piece, which could be transformed into a tiara, was a gift from the first Duke of Westminster. The extraordinarily wealthy Duke, one of the richest men in the country, gave the princess a precious necklace for this occasion. At some point, Mary changed the configuration of the necklace, placing it in a setting to be worn as a bandeau-style tiara. As part of the transformation, the large diamonds in the piece were surrounded by geometric frames. Around the time of her husband's accession to the throne in 1910, Mary wore the tiara in 2 portrait sittings. Unfortunately, these photographs are some of the only witnesses to this laurel leaf tiara. It is presumed that if it was not dismantled, it was inherited by the Queen in 1953 and is still in the palace's vaults to this day. I would very much like to see it worn again in the form of a necklace or tiara. Let me tell you about another one, the Cambridge Sapphire Tiara Parure. This tiara, part of a diamond and sapphire parure from the 19th century, passed through Queen Mary's family from her grandmother, Princess Augusta, Duchess of Cambridge, to her aunt, the Grand Duchess of Mecklenburg-Strelitz, and was given by Mary to her daughter-in-law, Princess Marina, Duchess of Kent, as a wedding gift. The Kent family kept the tiara for 2 generations, but it was recently sold by the current Duke and Duchess of Kent, A new tiara was later made for the Kents from the button necklace of the set.
Another tiara bears the name Queen Victoria's Oriental Circlet Tiara. The Oriental Circlet Tiara, an enduring masterpiece of royal craftsmanship, has a history steeped in symbolism, reinvention, and the shifting tides of monarchy. Designed by Prince Albert in 1853, this exquisite tiara originally featured lotus flowers nestled within 17 mughal arches, all set in a dazzling arrangement of 2,600 diamonds crafted by Gerards of London. At its inception, the tiara showcased opals, Prince Albert's favoured gemstone, and was part of a parure that included an opal necklace, earrings, and a brooch commissioned by Queen Victoria. The Oriental Circlet was prominently worn by Queen Victoria, who paired it with its accompanying jewellery for a royal portrait. However, tragedy struck in 1858 when royal jewels, including diamonds from the Oriental Circlet, were claimed by her cousin, the King of Hanover. To salvage the tiara, Queen Victoria replaced the lost diamonds by reworking older pieces and acquiring new gems. Though cherished in her early years, the tiara was not used during her extended widowhood. Before her death in 1901, Queen Victoria ensured the tiara's place in history, designating it as an heirloom of the crown, intended exclusively for future queens. However, the tiara's opulent design was altered by Queen Alexandra, Victoria's daughter-in-law, who viewed opals as unlucky. She replaced the opals with rubies sourced from Indian jewels gifted by princes to Queen Victoria and King Edward VII. Alexandra also modified the tiara, reducing the mughal arches to 11 and adding removable elements for versatility, though the simplified version has never been publicly seen. Despite its grandeur, the Oriental Circlet tiara saw little use during the reigns of Queen Alexandra and her successor, Queen Mary, who favoured other jewels. It was not publicly worn again until 1937, during the reign of King George VI. His consort, Queen Elizabeth, who had few significant tiaras at the time, revived the Oriental Circlet. She first wore it at the debutante presentation court at Buckingham Palace, just days before the coronation, and later during balcony appearances, state visits and tours. The Oriental Circlet quickly became one of Queen Elizabeth's signature pieces. During King George VI's reign, she wore it for state visits, gala performances, and even on Victory in Europe Day and Victory over Japan Day, solidifying its status as a symbol of post-war resilience. After King George VI's death in 1952, the tiara, an heirloom of the crown, should have passed to Queen Elizabeth II. However, the Queen Mother retained it, continuing to wear it for major events, including state visits, her 80th birthday, and the Queen's Silver Jubilee Gala. It became one of her last two tiaras, alongside the Greville tiara, which she wore until her death in 2002. After inheriting the Oriental Circlet tiara, Queen Elizabeth II, despite needing a ruby tiara at the time, seldom wore it. In fact, it made only one known appearance during her reign, at a state banquet in Malta in 2006. Though beautiful, its elaborate design was not entirely in line with the Queen's understated style. Today, the Oriental Circlet tiara rests within the crown jewels, awaiting its next chapter. Its intricate beauty and storied past make it a fitting choice for future generations, sparking speculation that it could someday grace the head of the Duchess of Cornwall, bringing its legacy full circle. Another royal jewel that is likely never to be worn again is the Indian ruby, lasque, and pearl tiara. This tiara was listed in Queen Victoria's 1896 jewellery inventory and later included in the Indian collection held by the Crown, starting with King George V in 1924. It is believed that the Duchess of Albany sold or exchanged the tiara with Queen Mary, possibly to provide her daughter, Princess Alice, with a wearable jewel upon her marriage to Prince Alexander of Teck, Queen Mary's brother. This unique diadem is notable not only for its stunning design, but also for the enamel portraits on its inner side. While Queen Victoria left the piece to her daughter-in-law, the Duchess of Albany, it had returned to the main Windsor family line by 1924. That same year, King George V officially placed it in the Crown's Indian collection, where it remains to this day. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment and don't forget to like. See you next time.